Israelite, a Hebrew Israelite from Israel, according to this Bible. So we can start off with Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Without an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. See, you hear that? We are a special people. We are a peculiar people. Okay, that the Most High God has called unto us. Okay, because we have, a lot of people, a lot of us, so-called, African Americans and Hispanics, we've been raised as, we've been called monkeys, we've been called, all different kinds of, names that are not, true to our identity. So this scripture just says that, we are a special people. Okay, was that all of that?
For God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we're not the same as everybody. Okay, we're not equally to everybody. We are superior than all these other races and these other nations.
Go ahead.
The Most High God, he set us above all these nations. Okay, so let's get Exodus 11 and 7. So we got to understand, we got to realize that, we're more superior to all these other nations. We need to stop serving these heathens and these nations that are not of our nation. Okay, we need to stop trying to be like the white man, the Chinese man, the Africans. You see, a lot of our people, you see our people wearing, those dashikis. That's an Egyptian, apparel. Okay, that has nothing to do with us. Okay, so the problem is, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, you don't know who you are today. So we're out here on a Sabbath day to teach you who you are according to the Bible. So read that.
Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that you may know how that the Lord doth put a difference.
He put a what?
Put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
The Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So we are not the same as those Africans. Okay, those Kemetic people. We're not related to them. Okay, so we need to stop trying to be like them. Okay, and fall into their doctrines. Because they have a complete different doctrine than us. They believe that, the woman is the God. Okay? Which is false.
Yeah,
okay, we serve the Most High God of Israel. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so we're completely different from them. We're not Africans, okay? And that's the problem with us. Because when we fill out a job application, right? What will we mark on that job application? It says black, it says African American, or other. See, me, I would check other because my true identity and my true nationality is not listed on that job application.
Go ahead and let them know.
So I'm not gonna check African American because I'm not an African American.
What are you gonna check?
That doesn't even make sense. African and American, you can't be from two different continents at the same time. Okay, and I'm not black because black is a color.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what is our true identity and our true nationality according to the Bible? It will be a Hebrew Israelite from Israel. So let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3.
Bring it out.
Matter of fact, let's get Exodus chapter 20, verse 7. So we're out here on a Saturday. Okay, which is the 7th day of the week. So we're out here every weekend, prophesying the scriptures and to wake up the lost sheep of Israel. Okay, because we're going to find out what is the true Sabbath day according to the Bible. Read that.
Let me have a few.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So the Sabbath day, that day we're supposed to keep, holy. Okay, so come on. So read verse 8.
Verse 16, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife.
Read verse 8.
Verse 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
6 days shall we do labor and do all thy works. Okay, we can't be selfish to the Most High because we're, as keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we got to put aside 1 day for the Most High.
That's right.
Okay, we can't be, selfish and just, focus on ourselves 7 days throughout the week. We gotta, we gotta take the time to heal ourselves, to rest, to let the Most High work on us. Because if we, working every day nonstop, that's not healthy for us. It's not wise for us to do. Finish reading that.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
But on the 7th day, we shall not do any work. Okay, so today is the Sabbath, according to the law, statutes, and commandments. Because a lot of doctrines out there, especially these churches, these crack house churches, what they teach is that the Sabbath day, which is the 7th day, will fall on a Sunday. Which is false, because if you look at the calendar, okay, what will be the first day of the week according to the calendar? Now it will be Sunday. So if Sunday is the first day of the week, that means Saturday will fall on that 7th day. So Saturday, which is today, is the Sabbath day. We got to keep this day holy. Okay, we got to be in a righteous state of mind. Question?
The question, sir, what do you do when you're forced to work on a Saturday like I am today? Otherwise, you take the day off, you lose your job. I'm supposed to work from 2:30 to 2:30 today, but if I call it off, they fire me. What do I do to stay with God, but at the same time make money to feed my daughter? How do I work through that?
Okay, so we gotta understand, living in this society and this, kingdom here right now, we're in captivity right now. I know it's really hard for us to, to get a job and to focus on our family, but we gotta learn to put God first. You see, the problem is we put the white man first, and the so-called white man, he will be a god. He is a god, because God means power. So our problem is we focus on the white man more than the Most High.
We make the white man a god by doing his
way.
Way.
By doing his way and serving him and we're actually worshiping him. Yeah. You see that? So you gotta precept for that.
True.
Yeah. So this is where the sacrifice comes in. We gotta learn how to sacrifice for the Most High. We gotta pray on it. Just pray to the Most High, and Most High willing, He'll bless you with a job that can, that will allow you to take the Sabbath off, because
like for example, the Jewish are able to take the day off. The Jewish, they come together as a community and they announce that day, no matter what it is, no matter what job you got. The Jewish say this is our day. You know what I'm saying? How do brothers get together and get that kind of power?
Well, how do we get together and do that? You can just, by you being a part of us. That's how we come together, because we teaching the law, statutes, and commandments. We're teaching you to take that day off.
Tell
You
the
know, we're not teaching you to work on a Sabbath day, because you got different camps out there, different congregations, you know, different doctrines that teach, oh, it's okay, you know, to work on a Sabbath. You know, the laws are done away with. You don't have to, what are you doing taking a day off on a Sabbath? You don't have to do that. The laws are done away with. But in our congregation, we don't teach that. We teach the truth, and we teach, you know, what's according to the scripture. So, read that.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
We ought to obey God rather than man. See, our problem is we put the so-called white man and these other nations before God. You see that? We want to serve them, you know, and, you know, instead of the Most High God. And that's what led us to captivity, you know, today. Because we forsook the Most High, and, you know, we abandoned the law, statutes, and commandments. So by you being forced to work on a Saturday, you know, you can always request a religious letter from, you know, the congregation, states that, you know, according to, you know, our religious belief, you know, we're not allowed to work on a Sabbath. And then you would then, you know, give that letter to, you know, your manager or your boss. And then that's when, you know, according to the law, you know, the laws of, you know, this land, you know, they should allow you, the First Amendment, our First Amendment right, we should be allowed to take that day off, you know, to serve, you know, the Most High. So, but we got to understand too, because, you know, I also had a job where I was working on a Saturday. So we got to understand that the Most High could bless you, and also Satan could bless you as well too. Because remember, Satan is here to tempt us, and to, you know, he wants us to go off and not serve the Most High. So if you got a job that's forcing you to work on a Sabbath, I don't think that's a blessing on the Most High. You know, if the Most High is putting you in that situation, He want to test, you know, He want to see if you're gonna sacrifice or not, right? Because we all got to put our faith in the Most High. So, you know, the righteous thing for you to do is, you know,
where do I get the paperwork?
Well, you will have to join our congregation in order to receive that, correct?
But even
You have to become a member first.
By religious law, I can fight that with the Constitution.
absolutely.
Correct. You can fight that.
That's what you would want to do first. You know what I'm saying? As the brothers are going into, you know, go up to him and be like, yo, according to the Constitution, I'm able to take it off anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so by you, because I know you're just now, you know, learning, you know, the Sabbath day and stuff like that. So, you know, that will be the best thing for you to do. If you try that and it still doesn't work, you still, you know, because your boss, he's a so-called white man, right? Right. So if he's still forcing you to work on the Sabbath, then me, personally, I'll quit that job, you know, because I know there's many different jobs out there. The Most High, you know, He'll provide you. He'll always have your back. That's why we got to put our faith in the Most High. So if it comes to that point where you present Him, you know, the religious letter, and He's still, you know, forcing you to work on that on the Sabbath, you got to quit that job, man. Just quit it, because you don't want to jeopardize your salvation due to, you know, working on Sabbath.
Absolutely.
And you know that we don't want to do that.
Bring it out, Doc. Bring it out.
See that?
Also, too, you mentioned the fake Jews, they would take that day off, right?
Yeah.
We can also use that against them because they know when this true Sabbath is. Be like, I'm following the Jewish law. Because they recognize the Jewish law where they keep the Sabbath. But I'm following this. Because the Sabbath is actually on Saturday, not Sunday.
See, but they don't want to follow the African Sabbath. Even though we came with pyramids, even though we came with ancient technology, they still can't understand. They still defame our character, our culture, everything else, and then they'll take the laws away from us and tell us that this is the way. And there's no way around it. You know what I mean? The truth. And if you try, and then if you complain, you lose your job, you can't feed your family. You got to go through the struggle until God answers. You know, and sometimes God doesn't answer everybody's prayers. You know, so at the end of the day, a lot of people are fearful of that type of activity. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, how do we overcome this unless it's all together, all at once? You know what I mean? It's gonna be almost impossible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a great question. Brother gonna go into it.
Let's get Proverbs 28 and 9. Let's get that. So in order for you, before you pray to the Most High, you got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Because you can't be a wicked person, and pray to the Most High and ask for Him, to bless you. And the thing is that, it goes both ways, because you got wicked people that's praying to the Most High for wicked things. Oh Lord, oh Lord, please, I hope I, get paid today so I can, cash out on bottles at the club. Oh Lord, see, you got that, and you got people that pray to the Most High, and they not even they think they're innocent, they think they're good, but they're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. So read that, Proverbs 28, verse 9.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination.
So the law is the law, statutes, and commandments that are written in this holy Bible right here. Also in the book of the Apocrypha. So it says, he that turneth his ear away from the law, his prayer shall be an abomination. Meaning the Most High, He gonna ignore that. He's not gonna pay attention to that. You see that? So we gotta be in a righteous state of being in order for the Most High to answer us. So man, hey, if I was you, man, I quit that job. If I present that letter and he's still forcing me to work, I'll quit that job. Because there's a lot of jobs out there. You got a lot of jobs out there. And, you're not the only one. We dealt with, many different people, with that same,
That's the truth.
the same circumstances that you're going through. So, yeah.
Talk to you, my brother. Go ahead and get some of this literature, man.
Doing. So, let's get Proverbs 4 and 7.
I'm about to go tell him right now.
All right, man. What's up? I'll see you, bro. You have a good one.
So what I think?
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing.
The Bible said wisdom is the principal thing. Okay, basic information, basic understanding is the chief thing. Read.
Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
With all thy getting, get understanding. See, the thing is that when we read this Bible, we got to get understanding, because the problem is a lot of people, they say, oh, I read that Bible, I read the whole book from front to back. Well, what can you tell me about the Bible? I read the whole book. See, the problem is they have no understanding. Only the Israelites can get proper understanding of this holy Bible, because a lot of people say, oh, the white man wrote the Bible. They know the Bible from from front to back, but they don't know how to they don't know how to explain the scriptures by precepts and give complete understanding of the Bible. You see that? So wisdom, all praises, brother.
What's your name?
Did you get a flyer?
You need to do your will by the permission of God.
Okay, so Bafakado. Name is Don Yalo. Judge of God. Gotcha.
So we got to get understanding. What kind of understanding are we getting? Understanding of the laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's our way to to be right with the Most High. We can't be living in this wicked society, following the ways of this wicked society. We're not going to make it to the kingdom like that. Okay, we have laws, statutes, and commandments that we need to follow by. Let's get Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. Because this society is completely wicked. Okay, what are they promoting? LGBTQ. Okay, they got lesbianism, right? Homosexuals, bisexuals. Okay, it's pure confusion here in this land that we're living in.
Go ahead and teach him. Go ahead.
Let's go into the law of homosexuality, because a lot of people that says, "Oh, God can accept me." It doesn't matter who you are. Okay, and that's Christians. These false Christians. That's what they teach. Oh, Jesus Christ died for you. It doesn't matter if you're red, blue, orange, green, purple. If you're homosexuality, Jesus will accept you. You don't have to worry about that.
Pick it up.
But we're going to get into the scriptures. We're going to see what the Bible says about homosexuality and lesbianism. Read that.
Go ahead and bring it up.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lies with a woman.
If a man lies with a mankind, as if he lies with a woman. So meaning, if a man lays down with another man, the same way as how he would, do it with a woman. Read.
Both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death.
They shall surely be put to what?
They shall surely be put to death.
They shall surely be put to death. That is a judgment given for a homosexuality act. Okay, it says it's an abomination. An abomination is a disgusting act. So the Most High, He doesn't accept you if you're a homosexual or a lesbian or a transgender. He doesn't accept that. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 23 and 1. I believe that, yeah, read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
So that's a scripture for those that, are transgenders. You see that it says, he that had his privy member cut off, meaning if you want to change, sexual, your sexual figures into being someone, another being that you're not, you're not gonna make it in the kingdom. You see that? So this is what we got to deal with living here in America. It's pure confusion. Okay, let's get, what's that? Revelations 11 and 7. Yeah, this land is spiritually called, Sodom and Egypt. Okay, this is Babylon today. You see that the same way how Babylon got destroyed and it fell, America today will fall because it's nothing but confusion and wickedness and nothing but homosexuals here in America. Read that.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, because if we go into the history of Sodom and Gomorrah, they got destroyed. That whole kingdom got destroyed for the homosexual acts. So the Most High, He doesn't approve that, and that's what we see today. You got a man want to be a woman want to be a man. You see that? Can a dog try to go and be a cat?
Nah.
No, because the purpose of the dog was to be a dog.
Right. Look it out.
You see that? So, we need to stop, following the ways of, the so-called white man and these other nations. And the scripture also says the land of Egypt, meaning, bondage and slavery, because we're still in slavery today. Okay, you got a lot of people out there thinking, oh, I'm free. I got this money, I got a job, I'm good. And nothing affecting me right now. I got a house, I got a car paid off, house paid off. I got, 5 figures, 6 figures in the bank account. I'm good. I'm not going through slavery. But we gotta understand, it's still slavery taking place here today. It's just not in physical form. It's actually in mental form. So we went from physical slavery to mental slavery today. How? Because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we don't know who our God is. We don't know our true identity. Okay, we don't know the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so we're living in modern day slavery today. Okay, so we have to learn how to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, and and serve the Most High. So let's get to Numbers 15, verse 38. So one of the laws that we have to keep is wearing fringes on the borders of our garments. Because I know when brothers and sisters, when they walk past, they look at us, we may seem strange to them. Oh, look at them. Why are they wearing, these robes and stuff like that? Well, what's the little things that they have on the bottom of their, their robes? This is a commandment that we have to, this is our true, our natural apparel. Okay, we're not supposed to be wearing, because the majority of the clothing that the so-called white man in these other nations are selling is, mixed fabrics. Okay, we're not, that's against the law for us to, wear those type of, clothing and material. So, read that.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 38. speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it,
So the scriptures say, and if you read the book of Numbers, 15th chapter, verse 37, verse 38, you can read that whole chapter if you like. It says, Moses, he spoke to the congregation of Israel. So all the Israelites were given law, statutes, and commandments to keep. And one of the law, statutes, and commandments that we have to keep is putting fringes on the borders of our garments. And above the fringes, we put a ribbon of blue. Okay, so that's our true apparel. Okay, and it's, you know, our ancestors were actually wearing this. So this ain't nothing new. Okay, this has been going on since, you know, the age of time. If you look at, you know, pictures of the indigenous people, you know, the so-called, you know, Hispanics and the Native American Indians today, they wore fringes back then. If you look at the, you know, the ancient, you know, pictures, you see them with the robes and the garments, right? And they have fringes on them. So that's our apparel. Let's go to the book of Leviticus and give me
12:54.
Let's get Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, where I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Ye shall do my statutes and keep mine ordinance to walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
We shall keep his laws, his statutes, his orderings. Okay? The land of Canaan, those will be the, you know, so-called Africans today. You see that? We're not supposed to be following, you know, the wicked customs of these other nations. Okay? If you go throughout, you know, Los Angeles, they got, and I think they're promoting that big time right now, is King Tut. Right? Well, that would be King Pharaoh, right? Yeah, the African exhibit. It would be King Tut. The Egyptian exhibit. And you know, most of our people, you know, look up to that. Oh, King Tut. Oh, Pharaoh. You know, we come from him. We want to be like him. You see that has nothing to do with us. The scriptures say, keep his laws and his ordinance. And what is his laws and his ordinance? These laws, statutes, and commandments that's written in this Bible.
Go ahead and teach him, Mark.
Let's get Acts chapter. No, let's get 2 John. First of all, let's get 1 John 3 and 5. Because we have to constantly, you know, preach this.
Bring it out.
You know, a lot of people, they say, you know, they love God. You know, we just had a brother down there said he was God. He was the Most High. So people, you got to really, you know, get understanding what you're saying. Because, you know, you don't want to blaspheme, you know, to the Most High. Read that.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law.
Whosoever committed sin also transgresseth the law. So what is sin? According to the Bible, it's breaking the law. So when you're breaking the law, you're sinning right there.
Hey.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
For sin is the transgression of the law. Okay, so we can't use sin as a license, you know, to sin. Okay, we can't use grace as a license to sin. Okay, because a lot of people, you know, they have that mentality where, oh, we have grace. You know, Jesus, you know, he died for us. You know, all the laws is done away with. We don't have to keep the laws or any of that. We have grace. Okay, but the scriptures say we can't use grace as a license to sin. Okay, we still have to. Okay, so you can just go out and just kill a brother. You can go out and steal and face no kind of judgment. No, because you know if we read Matthew, what is that? Matthew 5 and 14. I came not to destroy the law.
5:17.
Yeah, Matthew 5 and 17. When the scriptures say he came not to destroy the laws or the prophets. Okay, we're going to get that scripture real quick. You got that?
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 7, that I am come to destroy the law.
Think not that I come to destroy the law
Or the prophets.
or the prophets.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
He came not to destroy, but to fulfill. So all the prophets that were spoke about in the Old Testament, in the Apocrypha, in the New Testament, all those prophets, that gave prophecies, and all the laws, statutes, commandments that's written in the old time are still in effect.